Hey, in this video we're going to talk about the classic canvas bell tent that we just took to the snow with our 3-year-old toddler. Here's our full review coming up. Hey guys, welcome to the Dad Ventures. Today we're doing a dad review on this bell tent that we just purchased and use at the snow. Hopefully this will help people who's looking into buying a bell tent or a tent in general. So in this video we're going to talk about what came with the tent, the pros that we found, the real world results that we've tested in various conditions, the cons, and our recommendations. So a bit of backstory, I wanted to go camping in winter, so I've been looking for a tent that sort of meets our family needs. So we have a 3-year-old toddler, so he needs to obviously keep us insulated. And we also wanted to put a camp stove in there to keep us all warm and have a fire going, and it's pretty cool to have a camp stove in a tent, right? You know, why not? So we ended up getting the canvascamp bell tent, the 4 meters from side to side. It's called the Ultimate Pro 400, or the 400 Ultimate Pro, one or the other. Okay, so let's go straight into it. This is what it came with. That was pretty cool. The filming bit of that was pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen the previous video, we went to Mount Kosciuszko. We used this bell tent in Mount Kosciuszko. The campsite was snowed under, so it was a winter wonderland. It was amazing. The link is in the description box below, so have a look at that.
This is beautiful.
Alright, so after the camping experience, these are the pros that I found. Firstly, it has so much room in there. Here's a shot of my self-inflating mattress that I have in the tent. You can fit about 2 of these, or maybe 3 if there's no camp stove in there. So much room. Our little girl loved it. She thinks it's a nice fortress. Second pro, it's really easy to put up. There's only 2 poles to pitch the tent, so it's quite easy. Number 3, the roof and the sides are made of 360 GSM. Full 100% cotton canvas material. What does that mean? It means it's not polyester like your traditional dome tents, which I have. You'll see images of the SG4, which is the Black Wolf tent that I'm comparing it to. From polyester to canvas, worlds apart, honestly. Number 4 pro is the ground sheet is tough, like really tough. The one we have is 650 GSM. I had a stove on there, I had camp chairs on there, I had a 3-year-old toddler on there running around like a 3-year-old toddler, and no damages. We had this ground sheet on snow, we had this ground sheet on in the backyard, on grass, on dirt, no damages whatsoever. One of the cool things about this cotton canvas material is they tested it with a cigarette. They did the cigarette test. What does that mean is, yeah, they got a cigarette and they tried to burn it. It didn't burn. We wanted to put a camp stove in there, especially with winter camping. With a 3-year-old, I wanted to have a fire at least in the tent to keep us warm. So I'll tell you the results of that in the next section. Alright, so Amanda is on fire duty. Check it out. That's in the tent. That's right, that's in the tent. Pro number 5, 6, 4. One of them. The bag is amazing. If you camped before, you know that after having a good weekend away, the hardest part is putting everything away. Well, to me, that was the hardest part. This bag that it came with is amazing. It's huge, and it didn't take too long for me to put in the bag. I think the first time round, after I pitched it up and put it down, I put in the bag with ease. Like, it was easy. There was so much room. Probably wasn't efficient when I put it away, as in I didn't jump on the canvas to push out all the air and so forth. I could have made it a bit more efficient to fit in the bag, but even saying that, it fit in the bag perfectly and there was no problems with that. Also, one of the pros for this tent is that it has a really nice headroom. Especially when I'm about 1.8, I can stand in the tent, in most part of the tent. Obviously it tapers down on the edges, but at least it gives me that ability to change when I'm in the tent. Same with my whole family, so definitely a bonus. Did I tell you about the spares bag? It comes with a spares bag. Just think about it. It comes with a spares bag. That's designed for me. Like, I lose stuff. It has a spares bag. This tent was meant for me.
I wake up in the morning and this great beautiful state. Golden fingers caress my face. Slips through the window on a silky breeze.
Hey, alright, so we're going to talk about real world results. So these are my results. It might be a bit or slightly different to you guys, but I'll try to fill you in what I did and how the end result came about. So I've tested this in rain, tested it in snow, I've tested it in wind. I think that's all I've done. Okay, so in rain, it was sort of a coincidence. I pitched it up in the backyard when I first got it. I seasoned it with water, that whole process as per the manufacturer recommendations. Coincidentally, the next day it rained. After about the third day or fourth day, I went in, there was no water whatsoever. So, and I left it out for like some pretty heavy rain. It was good. It had no problems whatsoever. So it passed that tick of approval. Windy conditions. So we went out camping one of the nights. It got to about 50 kilometers an hour of wind speed, and it went on for about 10 hours worth, from midnight up to maybe 10 o'clock during the day. The tent, or the pegs, was still good. It was still firmly pitched. The tent had no problems at all. Yeah, well. Alright, so winter conditions, especially snow conditions. Firstly, the snow. Having the ground sheet on the snow, one of my worries was that it will seep through. No problems at all, so it was definitely watertight. The only issue is it was very, very, very cold. Lucky we had a few things on the mat that kept us warm. So one of the reasons why we bought this cotton canvas is because we wanted to make sure that the canvas material kept in the heat. And it certainly did. Lucky we had a camp oven, camp stove, camp stove oven. One of those, you know what I mean. With -7 outside, inside was about 15 to 18 degrees. So that was really good. It kept the tent warm, it kept us warm, so definitely a bonus. On the next night, it was about 5 degrees outside, and it was about the same, about 15 to 18 degrees. So that's definitely another tick of approval. FYI, one of the questions I had when I was searching for a tent is I wanted to know how long that heat stayed in there, you know, whether it stayed all night or a couple hours. Definitely the latter. So with these tents, I've noticed that in both occasions, the heat-wise only lasted about a couple hours before it sort of leveled about maybe +5 from outside. So if outside was 5 degrees, it was about 10 degrees maybe inside. If outside was -7, it was about -2 inside. It's probably our body heat keeping us warm and keeping the tent warm. So after the camp stove turned off, it kept us warm for a couple hours, which gave us enough time to get in bed. So it did its job. Thumbs up. Okay, let's talk a bit about the cons. With cotton canvas or poly cotton canvas, with all I've researched, there is a bit of maintenance involved. Starting with, one of the rules is you shouldn't be putting away or packing away the tent when it's wet, because it builds up mildew. So what is recommended is if you do have to put it away wet, you have to take it out within 24 hours and dry it. What I also found is the size difference compared to what I have now, the canvas, to my previous tent is massive. Not only the size, but the weight as well. So this tent's about rounding up to about 30 kilos. On a normal day, that's fine, I can carry that, but chuck it on the roof every time, it does get a bit strenuous. So if you have a ute or a trailer, perfect. You have plenty of room in the SUV, perfect. You have plenty of room in the four-wheel drive, perfect. But yeah, for our trip, I chucked it on the roof. It was a bit of work. Another con that I found based on the circumstances I was in, negative 70 degrees, the zips were a bit fiddly. I wanted to not freeze my hand off and just zip it up, but it took a while, so that was my fault because I was not patient. You know that movie with Godzilla when the guy's trying to put the tape in the camera? If I had more patience, I would definitely zip it in and it would have been fine. But yeah, that's a bit fiddly there. Another con is the footprint of this tent. My tent is about 4 meters round, so and then if you add the guy ropes on either side, it's about an extra meter at least. So you're looking at 6 meters by 6 meters to have this tent pitched up. Camping at a national park, I didn't have a problem with that because there was so much room. For the caravan park or the likes, you might need to get a bit more room to fit the tent and your vehicle. So just something you have to be aware of.
I wake up in the morning in this great blue state, golden fingers caress my face.
So does the pros outweigh the cons? It really depends on you guys. I love the tent. I really do. Our family love the tent. We can use it not just for camping, we can pitch it out in the backyard, and when we have friends over, we can have a movie night. So it's so many purpose to that tent, and I'm planning to take it to the beach and pitch it up. These tents, you can remove the walls and then you can open up and it just has the roof. It's pretty cool idea. There'll be a video on that when summer rolls in, so stay tuned. I think it's very good value for money, especially the type of materials we're dealing with, cotton canvas versus polyester tents. So there's also other things that I would like to buy in future for this tent. Definitely consider this when you're purchasing your tent as well. I'm definitely going to get a fly for the roof of the tent. Firstly, there's so many birds around that just on your tent, so every time I have it in the backyard I have to hose it off. So definitely going to get a fly just to protect it for longer. Plus it helps with the insulation, so for winter camping. So if that's something you're into, definitely get a fly. I'm also going to upgrade my stove. The stove I have is sort of a cheapy stove, but it does the job, but I'm looking at upgrading that as well. So those are the two things that I'll definitely do in the next couple of months. We bought it through a company called Breathe Bell Tent, which is belltent.com.au, and she was very helpful. Her name is Lucy. I highly recommend her. She got back to me within like 20 to 30 minutes with so much information, so much valuable information. Speak to her. Her details is in the link in the description box below, so definitely do that. Alrighty, that's our review for the Bell tent. If you guys have questions, by all means, ask it in the comments and we'll answer it as much as we can. Guys, if you like this type of video, give us a like. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe.